What's up, everybody? How's it going? This is your ITG Gamecast every Monday night, 7:30 p.m. Eastern. You can join us as we get caught up in the world of games, what we're gaming, and of course, our topic of the show. Boys, welcome back. It's me. I'm Drew. That's below me, Steve, all the way from jolly old England, and of course, none other than Scott Savage. You see him every day on the Daily Show with me. Boys, how was the weekend? What's happening? What have you guys been up to these days? Steve, I'm gonna kick to you.
Well, I've been away for the last the latter end of the week for work.
Yeah.
So really this weekend is just really doing a lot of catch up. I had some paperwork to do and play some games, obviously.
Nice.
So not too much exciting, but still fun for me.
Fair enough. How about yourself, Scott? We talk all the time, so I kind of know what you've been up to, but for everybody else who's watching.
Yeah, it's actually a weekend of a little less gaming than normal, which is quite a surprise, but that's because I saw a lot of family. So we saw the elders, they came by, and I went and saw my sister in her new apartment. So that was exciting news. New things moving around in the family, and everybody's having a good time so far. So
it sounds like a family weekend. Yeah, myself too, myself included. My parents finally came back from their trip. They were gone for like 2 months. So I'd be over their place, checking out their house.
They are.
Yeah, they are snowbirds,
Every
right?
time I think about it, man.
So they're over in, I think it was like Arizona, at least out that way. You never know. They take a road trip, so they just pile in the van and they just drive.
Somewhere warm.
So, yeah, somewhere that's not as cold as here. So they finally came back. So we were able to get the whole family together, my brother, his wife, and kids too, right? So we all met up, had a blast. We played some cards. The guys lost, the girls won. This is the way it goes sometimes. You can't win them all. But we still had a ton of fun. That was the biggest thing, right? I mean, getting everybody together. My oldest, though, had to work, which he missed, which kind of sucked. But we went and picked him up, and he came back. He got a little bit of the conversation in there. So it was good to see everybody come together. Everyone, they've been gone for so long, right? I'm starting to, you know what it is, and I don't want to be a little bit of a downer here. But as I start to get older, I'm like, I know my parents are getting older, too. So I'm trying to, just kind of captivate the moments when I can. And when we pull the family together, damn, it feels great, right? Like we have a ton of fun. We're always laughing and we're always joking and poking jokes at people. So it's always a great time. And then on Sunday,
I'll go on that one.
Yeah,
the ducks. Remember, you said you left ducks.
So here's all right. So my wife's got a Jeep, and if you don't know what happens, what happens is ever since the pandemic came around. The Jeeps, I don't know if it's before that or just then. I don't know. I think it's really kind of when it started. But just to kind of bring some lightheartedness to the time, I guess it was, we would buy little ducks, and then you would go around when you see another Jeep, you would duck it. And then
so bizarre.
Dude, it's completely weird. I get it. I absolutely get it. If you're not a Jeep person, you won't understand probably, which is understandable. But so we're driving around, and there's this one Jeep parked, and it is a Tonka. It is literally a Tonka. It says Tonka right on it. It is sick. It is yellow. It was jacked up. It had wicked rims. The tires, man, it looked fantastic. So my middle child, Garrett's like, Dad, can we go duck this thing? Absolutely. So we go duck this. So here's where I'm really kind of starting to go with all this. Basically, while my parents are away for 2 months, my wife looks at me and says, "We should duck your parents' house." I said, "Well, what do you mean?" Well, so I think we should go buy 75 ducks, number them, and then hide them throughout their house for when they come back. So we did that. Myself, my 3 boys, my wife, we all went over and we ducked my parents' entire house from the second floor to the first floor, and it was just all over the place, man. And they found, I think they're at right now, somewhere around 60, 65. So I think they have like 10 left to find now at this point, right? So we left a note saying, "Hey, welcome home. We were able to shoot the 1 duck, but now you have 74 more to go find and shoot." So it was a nice little gag. They thought it was pretty funny too. We had a blast. The kids loved it, and it was fun.
I was gonna say, your dad's gonna tread on it. It'd be like treading on a bit of a Lego brick. He'll be on the floor there.
Yeah,
another one, and then you'll be in trouble.
It was fun, and then so of course we were talking about that on the weekend, right? And then after that on the Sunday, we had friends over here, and we had a good time catching up with them. We're actually talking about planning a trip next year. My cousin lives in Mexico. He's like, so I'm like, let me call up my cousin. Like, yo, you got room for us? Yeah, absolutely. So now we're talking about actually going down to Mexico, crashing my cousin's house with our friends, and we're gonna rent it from him and then have a good time too. So yeah,
Oh,
a lot of
that's
things
awesome.
happened over the
Finally,
weekend,
you
man. It
going
was
on the road trip.
it was nuts. Oh yeah, we got a road trip coming up too, but we'll be able to talk about that a little bit later. So lots of things happening here, but yeah, and then a little bit of gaming too. It was funny, right? You're right there, Scott and Steve. There not a lot of games this weekend. I was working, like not even a lot of predecessor. There was the predecessor league on the weekend, and I was like, yo, I'm all in. Like, I'm watching, I'm making lunch right now with the boys and whatever, and I'm watching this thing as I'm cooking and I'm making lunch, and just, man, I'm so happy the predecessor is here now that Paragon was gone and now it's back. Like, I talk about it on a weekly basis, but I'm telling you, I love this game, and I can't wait to see what is next. What other tools will they implement for the PCC League so that they can get into it more in depth, right? So basically, if you haven't seen it, basically what happens is they plan out this schedule of a tournament, and then the people will play their games, and then they'll submit the replay for them to go and watch, and then that's when you get into the casters, the commentators, and all that kind of stuff, and then they break it all down. I tagged Top Tier, and it said I'd love to have him cast a game. Top Tier is way back. I've known Top Tier for quite a while now, Josh, and we've talked personally. He's a super cool guy, and he got me into Paragon. So when Paragon started back in the day, it was him and Shane who were casting some of the events that they were putting out there, and it was like, man. And then as I'm watching Top Tier stream the other day, Shane came on to play predecessor with him. I'm like, no way, because I haven't heard Shane's voice in a very, very long time, because he's now doing other things. I believe he's paramedic and he's doing other things. But either way, it's been really cool to see Top Tier come back, get into predecessor, and have fun doing that. But he's got a voice for casting, and he had the knowledge back then too, right? So he was on point. He's calling out the plays, calling out. And I'm not knocking who's doing it now, because there are always a variety of them. And they were hyped over the weekend, and it was awesome. Like, you can tell when they're in, and they are like yelling at the plays. Oh man, it was, boys, I'm telling you, there isn't a game like this. So I've been so invested in predecessor. Yeah. Shout out to Ameto Studios. Robbie's fantastic. We've had him on our show several times. He will be back. We're already talking about other things later on down the line, stuff like that.
Do you actually play on the handheld, or do you just play it strictly on the console?
No, it's all console. It is console for me. I'm 110 hours now on PlayStation. I've got it on Xbox, and then I have it on PC. I'm close to probably about 200 hours now at this point, in between everything else that we do, right? Like, this isn't the only game I play.
Is it because there's so much going on the small screen? Is that why you won't play it on handheld, or?
Yeah, like, I probably could, Steve, if I wanted to. It's just not the way I want, because it is competitive, right? There's a competitive. Yeah. It's like, dude, if you want to play Siege, you don't play Siege on a handheld. Like that, I know they had the mobile version of the game, but nobody wants to. I don't want to play it that way. Give me my controller, right? That's the biggest thing. I could honestly play on the Portal, right? I've got the PlayStation Portal, so I could come in and maybe play it that way. But it's just, it's such a smaller screen where I've got a 55-inch TV in front of me, right? 65-inch, depending on which TV I'm on. It's
look at it this far, so you can peek around the corner.
So
that's me playing PUBG. I'm like right up 2 inches from the screen, just so I can see one pixel turn color.
Oh man, well, my son won us a TV, right? He was 2 at the time. He won a 65-inch TV. Thing's incredible. So my wife is lucky. She's got horseshoes, I'm telling you. So she filled out his name, whatever. We win this TV. So then we have 2 TVs side by side, right? So on the weekend we're playing. My son, my middle child Garrett, loves predecessor as well, so we're playing together. Dad, you want to play? I'm like, yeah, let's play. So he's on the PlayStation. I'm like, oh, come on. So I'm this close to prestiging Bellica and Chimera, so 2 of them. So that's hitting level 7, and then I get a cool skin. I'm like this close. I keep grinding away at it, right? But either way, so he's like, yeah, Dad, you want to play? I said, absolutely. So then I connect now over to what I tag as my wife's TV, because that's where her consoles are, and I jump in there. Like, predecessor looks gorgeous in 4K. And like it is, what a TV that is compared to what I play on. I'm like, oh man, I need a new TV, honey. Like, it's just one of those. It's like,
so
crap.
You put your name in for more raffles.
yeah, exactly. But yeah, so that was my weekend, boys. It was quite a weekend. I had an absolute blast. Loved the weekend. It was a ton of fun. And then next thing you know, Monday's here. It was like, wow, that went fast, right? But But yeah, that's what we've been up to. But guys, let's get into what we've been playing, because I've been up to a ton of stuff. Some things we can talk about, some things we can't. Right, Steve?
Exactly. Uh, which obviously we have been playing a game which we can't talk about.
Yeah, we'll leave it at that.
But we'll leave it at. But make sure you catch it on Wednesday.
Yes. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, we can talk about that. We have been playing Stellar Blade, so we can talk about what we are playing. And our review will be dropping on Wednesday at 10 a.m. Eastern, so make sure you swing back around, check out our thoughts on that. That's all we're going to say about that. Steve, what else have you been playing? You been playing anything else? I know we've been pretty busy with Stellar Blade.
No, unfortunately not. It was kind of just really mainly that game because
Sure.
I've been away last week. I sort of, even though I did take my PlayStation with me, I sort of played the game for what we're doing, and that was really about it. So I want to get back into Evil West, the one that I was playing.
Scott tagged
Right.
something in that. Yeah. You've been enjoying it?
I'm really enjoying it. There's a couple of clips I've sent to Corey, and when I was watching the clips back, I thought this is a lot of fun. It is. It's very linear on the gameplay itself.
Sure.
But I kind of like in the story, the Western, zombies, vampires, that kind of thing. But it's not kind of like, it's not Hunt Showdown. It's not that faster pace kind of move. Yes. Yeah, it's not like that, but I'm enjoying the storyline, so I'm jumping on that. And I've got I still want to get back into my Alan Wake, sorry.
Alan Wake, yeah.
Alan Wake. So I want to get back into that at some point as well. There's got a couple of games that I've got loaded on my consoles, and it's kind of going back, kind of like Senua's Hellblade.
Sure.
Kind of
cleaning up your backlog. There's nothing wrong with that, right? Like, we all have a massive backlog. It's how do you get to that, right? Obviously, the nature of what we do, we just cover so much and try to stay up on everything that's current. But then at the same time, at the end of the day, when the business hours are done, let's go play some Predecessor, boys, or you know what I mean? Like, that's me. You guys can...
I mean,
the comfort
I've even
games.
got that downloaded. I've even got Predecessors downloaded.
Oh, dude,
you
should join us.
It's one of my to-do things. It's ready to go.
That's fair.
Obviously, priority is what we do. The games, that's what I do. And then when I have that bit of downtime, then I do try and jump on play a different game, or I've got to be in that frame of mind and mood as well.
That is game. It plays into that, doesn't it? Right? You're like, what are you in the mood to play? Now that it's funny because sometimes because we review so much, I'm like, I don't know what to play. Like, do you guys ever experience this? Because I'm overloaded, right? Like, often I'm on 2, 3, sometimes even 4 games in a week. Maybe sometimes that stretches into 2 weeks, but either way, there's a list, right? So you can just kind of working on your checklist, and then when I'm done, I'm going, well, now what am I gonna play? And then I can't seem to strike the mood then to pull in something else, right? Do you guys experience that at all?
I get that a lot, specifically right before I had joined you guys inside the game here. I was just kind of looking for direction. Like, I would always sit down and just trying to burn away at a game, but I didn't really have too much direction. And that's probably my favorite thing about this, is that there's always something, and I always have to have something productive to play, and that's been a lot of fun. But
do you know
I've kind of been closing the book on a lot of games lately, where I don't have time for it. I would like to play Alan Wake, but that's another one that I just don't have time for right now. But there's other ones. I kept playing Hot Wheels 2, and I loved it. But the problem is that I've beaten it. I've done everything there is to do, and so I deleted it. That was it. I'm done. Similarly, there's a game for review that has just come up, so I'm not going to speak on it as to quality or preference. But I had spent so much time in it, and I know that it has the kind of hooks that could pull more time out of me. So I said, no, I just have to delete it. I have to focus on what's forward.
Fair enough.
There's too many things moving always.
But going back to what you were saying, do you find, like, we review a game and it's like have so much fun playing it, and then we move on to the next game, then you kind of forget how good it was, and then I don't feel in the mood to go back and play it anymore at the time? For me personally, there's been a couple of Steam games that we've, like me and you've done, Scott, and we've like really enjoyed it, and then it's like, I'm gonna get back into this, and then it's like, I'm not feeling it. I'll go on console or play something totally different.
Yeah, you do kind of just train yourself to put it down after a certain amount of time. That's probably what that is. It's like, well, I'm never going to be struck by that same mood again. There's a lot of games like Prince of Persia is the one that stands out to me. The the crown, the lost
Yeah.
crown. I cannot beat the final boss. I'm sure he's the final boss,
Yeah.
but I
sure.
also haven't tried in maybe a month or two now because to get back into it, I almost feel like I need to restart the whole game again, and I just can't do that. Nobody has the time for that.
No. It's still on my system to go back to play, but I'm like, I see it there, right? It's nah, like right, like it's nah. And we're gonna get into here in the next couple weeks coming up. We're gonna get into what is our game of the year right now. So you guys can start planning that thought process and what you're looking at as far as your game of the year conversation is looking like right now. But that is, dude, that is one of my games. Like straight up, Prince of Persia: The Lost Crown is an absolute incredible game. It is on me though to find the time to go back to wrap it all up because man, that is not a small game. That is not a small game, and I was shocked at how big it actually turned out to be.
I was working towards 100% on that one, but that's again, I had to close the book. It's not going to happen there, not right now. So
yeah, no, for sure. Scott, what are you playing right now?
just a whole lot of Hot Wheels, but I put that away. Besides that, it's been the regular PUBG, but I've kind of stepped that down a little bit.
Yeah,
I got the 1,000 kills achievement. I've got, what was the last one? I think I had to punch out a certain amount of people. I did that one no problem, but now it's just down to grenade kills.
right.
And grenade kills are tough when you're playing solo, man, because nobody's. So I have to play teams, but I'm no team. I'm on my own, and it's rough. So I haven't been playing too much of that. I need another comfort game. We get Siege in usually every night.
Yeah.
But I need something. I need something to run solo when you guys aren't on.
No, that's fair. It is you gotta find that sweet spot, right? Like, what is that comfort you can go to?
Battlefield maybe, but
well, there you go. Yeah, because you can run Battlefield solo, right? Like that. It is such a massive team game that you don't really need to party up with 4 people. You can literally just kind of run out on your own and kind of help the team overall. You know, have you guys seen? I think it's called Gray Zone. Have you seen that one yet?
Oh, I saw something about it, but I haven't actually read into it too much. It looks like a new Hell Let Loose or Battlefield kind of.
With Escape from Tarkov connection.
Is it Extraction?
Yeah, it is.
Okay.
So it's a constant procedural world. It's a lived in. It is on 24/7, and you jump in with the team, and away you go. So the world is constantly evolving as you play. So the time you come back in, it's not like when we play Siege, right? We jump in to say like Oregon. That is the map. Regardless, right? Whether you're on round 5
popped into my head too.
or round 1, right? That is the way the map is. Here with Gray Zone, from what I've been able to see, and I'm gonna start looking into it because I'm starting to kind of get off my checklist of games for now. That'll change in 2 seconds. But it is one of those things now I'm going in and going, this Gray Zone game looks really, really cool. It's PC right now. I don't know if they have any plans to bring that over to console, but you party up, you squad up, chopper comes in, picks you up, sends you out. There's objectives to take care of, and you might make it back. You might not. And I've seen a lot of clips going, yo, I see somebody right in front of me. And like the panic on these guys, like it sets in, right? They go, whew, okay. Oh man, I got him. And then, like the hype is there because you need to go in, take care of the objective, and then get out. But that world changes on your functionality within that and how it works. And then you call in the helicopter, then pick you up and get you back out. But it's never the same thing going in twice. Not like when you set up. And granted, Rainbow Six isn't the same thing either, right? Because our team versus their team is always the dynamic there is going to change, but the map is still the map. And where like Gray Zone is a little bit different because the world outcome, because the world is lived in 24/7, that you never quite know if you're either going to run in anybody or you're not. And it's just man, sounds so cool.
Do you think it's going to be more like Tarkov though, or do you think it's going to be more like Hazard Zone on Battlefield? Because it does kind of fit them. You're jumping into that world. You're doing PvE, PvPvE, and then extracting out. But it's kind of totally unique or separate. I mean, from everybody else around you. You're kind of just doing your own thing.
Yeah,
it's similar, but Hazard Zone just didn't really hit. But I haven't played it in months and months now.
Is it still up and running? Because weren't they talking about taking it out over in Battlefield?
I actually don't know. I kind of assume it's been taken out, but I honestly couldn't.
I enjoyed it because it kind of reminded me a little bit of going way back in the day to Ghost Recon Future Soldier, where you squad up and this is like the only game I've
Was
actually
it-
rolled with a clan. I actually joined a
Was
clan.
it that?
Dude, it was sick. Absolutely sick. I will never forget it. We rolled up with our team. We went out, and it was objective based, but it was a PvP element, right? It was PvP, but you had to go over and take over these zones and stuff, these objectives. Man, we had like plays going on. Like I was like, man, this is a whole other level of gameplay, competitive. I suck at competitive games. I just love them. I just love the competitive stuff, right? I'm a big baseball guy, basketball fan. I can play, not pro league, but I can play, and I did all right back in my days. I'm just old now. But when it comes to the competitive gaming side, I suck. There's a reason why I'm at the bottom when it comes to Siege. I really don't care. I have a good time. Some days I get mad. But for this, man, like we were then even, not to the point where we're going in and training, but we're figuring out tips and tricks and stuff to kind of help step up our game, right? And then we'd send part of our squad this way, and we roll around, we flank, and then so and I are going to go over this way now. And we'd have this thing. It was... Damn, I missed that game.
That sounds like how I want to play Ghost Recon, but then I ended up playing with Nathan and Ben, and Ben is the least stealthy player I've ever played with.
That's funny.
Great guy, Benny. We all love him, but
Ben's awesome.
It was rough.
Yeah.
Is he like me? Guns blazing.
Yes.
Oh yeah,
Steve's not a stealth guy either.
I do try.
Shoots a cactus.
Let me tell you a story about Steve, Scott. So, Steve and I meet up. We're gonna play some Breakpoint, okay?
Oh yeah, I know it. Yeah.
He's already like, I know what's going on. So we get up to this point. We're up above this on the top of the mountain.
On the cap.
Yeah, we're up on this big mountaintop, and we're looking over our objective there, right? I got my sniper rifle out, silencer is on. I said, all right, I got it lined up. And Steve's like, I got it lined up too. Bang! And I went, Steve! Like, he goes, but there's more power when you take off the silencer. Man, it alerted everybody. And I was just like, oh, Steve, you can just not stealth. Where I would be there, right? I would pick them all off with my sniper rifle. Poo, 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 poo. Yep. I just drop them all. They wouldn't have a clue I was even there. Steve just rolls in. He might as well walk on the front door with a shotgun and start lighting them up.
Yeah,
I'll never forget
like Ivor.
Rocket launch is pretty cool as well.
Yeah.
Just fly in a helicopter, clear the area. Especially when I was playing solo as well on some bits. I tried different methods, especially when you go for the stealth and you spend ages picking off like the ones in the tower and the ones that walk around, and then you get clocked. And you think, and then he sets them all off. And then where do they all come from? They all come from the bunkers, and then it's no good. So for me, it's like maybe clear the area up first, bit guns blazing, and then when the alert goes down a little bit, then sneak in, and then you're not picking off as many enemy either.
Yeah, no, that's fair. Oh man, it was funny. I'll never forget. It was so loud. I was like I almost turned to him literally in the game and went, "What are you doing?" But yeah, getting back to what you're playing there, Scott. Is there anything else you're up to? What else you playing?
Nothing that I can really think of. I feel like there's something I'm forgetting, and it's going to frustrate me because I'll remember this later on. But no, it's been a lot of review games. So just kind of one into the other.
Yeah, myself.
And that will still continue, actually, I believe, if I look at my board to the left here.
Yeah, we're not slowing down. There's still a lot to play for us. So always something new to talk about, right? Which is always exciting. This is why I love my job so much, I think. At the end of the day, it's never the same thing, right? I'm never doing the repetitive nature of whatever that job is. It is, I'm playing this game this week. I'm talking about something else. I'm talking about a new game, a new mechanic, and, just all the conversation is just always changing, which is just something I just love to do. So, especially since I like to talk. But what I've been playing, Predecessor, like I mentioned, right over on the weekend, I got into Predecessor again a little bit of Siege, and review stuff, right? Like Stellar Blade. Again, tune back in on Wednesday, 10 a.m. Eastern. You can catch our full review on that. I'm trying to think if there's anything else, because I haven't really deviated either too far besides Predecessor and some Siege. We played like one game, I think, Scott, maybe 2 games of PUBG the other night. Like that was really about it.
Yeah. I think it was 2 just because I got robbed on the first one.
Yeah. We got Scott got taken out rather quickly. It's like welcome to PUBG, right? We just landed. There's another team there. They already had guns. Like, man, where do you guys come from? Because what happened was in PUBG now we get on the new Rondo map, and sometimes we'll have 2 planes. So one plane be coming this way, and the other plane be kind of like crossing over the line. So you have 2 lines on the map now when the plane goes. Yeah. So they'd already dropped by the time we went across their line. So when we dropped, not realizing that they'd already be there. And yeah, Scott got eliminated in seconds. But
yeah,
but
that was one
sort
way.
of mentioned as well is obviously we talk about the game reviews, and I think it all depends on certain games. Like when we done Final Fantasy Rebirth, we knew it was going to be a big game, and I feel like something like that, it opens up the more hours you put in. Yeah. And I find for me, if I'm enjoying the game and it is a big title, then I feel I should just dedicate my time just to playing as much as I can on this, because as you say, you find out the more hours you play, you think, oh, like new weapon or something different that could change the whole dynamic of a game for me.
Well,
that's
what
happened with me with Outcast.
So recently, right? So you and Corey reviewed Outcast, which will be going up live this week. And then Scott and I reviewed Broken Roads. But it took me 8 hours for that game to click. But I was 8 hours before I got in and nothing clicked, right? It's like, man, that is too long. That is a problem. That is a pacing problem right there. Is basically what comes down to that, right? Because you need to hook somebody within the first half hour to an hour.
Like a film. Film stock
exactly.
Pace going through or get you, you're gonna switch off or watch something else.
Yeah, no, exactly, right? So I've been also playing No Rest for the Wicked. We got codes on that, so you can. I'm not going to mention it. I'll just mention that is it. Corey and I are also working on The Devil Within Sackot. We previewed this a while ago. We got hit up by the developers again. Drew, we heard your feedback. We've done a couple changes. We'd like you to play it again. I'm so down. I already like that game to start with, right? So I said, yeah, absolutely. So we'll be having Rob back on the show once again, talk about all the updates, the changes that they've done. So make sure you stick around and you'll be able to check that out. Coming in the next couple of weeks, we'll be lining that one up. Rob is a super cool guy. First time he ever did an interview was with us, which was always super cool. And man, it's just easy to chill. So yeah, good conversation there. But it's everything right now is really work related if it's not predecessor. And then let's get into in or out, because this is something that's going to tie right in now, boys. In or out. We're halfway through the show already. This is where we're at. So I almost forgot. I almost skipped right over. Yeah. Welcome to ITG. So okay, in or out. Right now, this is the other part that I've been playing because I'm in on the new season of Mortal Kombat 1. I am back, boys. I was like, damn, I didn't need another game, right? But here we go. Ermac is out. Oh, he's so good. He is so good. I was like, yes. Everything
Drew,
here
I
clicks.
want this game so bad, Drew. I've been looking at this for how long has it been out for now? A year?
Dude, it's been almost a year. No, it's got to be.
I was going to say, get it on Nintendo Switch for him.
No.
Oh.
That is not how you experience this game. Yeah, no. It is.
No.
I'm all
out there
in.
is having a great time with Mortal Kombat on the Switch, and bless them.
Yeah, bless their hearts. My goodness. No, but when it comes to Mortal Kombat 1, so the last season I didn't like at all. I didn't. I'm like, man, what is this?
No?
Even my son looked at me, Garrett, who's into Mortal Kombat with me. He's like, Dad, this season is horrible. We just didn't like it. It's all cosmetics, right? It's cosmetics. Wow. It's seasonal content. They want you to come back in. They've turned Mortal Kombat into a live service game. And this is where we're at, right? So you can go online, you can get competitive, right? And then you earn currency that way and go in and spend it and you buy cosmetics and you kind of upgrade, or not upgrade, but you can just customize your fighters.
Yeah. Is there anything weird? Like silly?
Well, that was last season, dude. Like Scorpion had a mohawk. I was like, no. And the color scheme, we weren't liking it. And then Ermac drops, new season drops. I was like, oh, I'm back. So yeah, right now for me, I'm all in on Mortal Kombat 1, having a ton of fun. I got up Sunday morning. Everybody's in bed. It is literally just me, and I am up. I got a coffee. And I'm chilling out with my guy Ermac, and we just hanging, and we're just crushing people. I'm killing them. Fatality comes in. I'm pulling off the fatalities, right? I'm dismantling the body and spinning it in midair, and then squishing it together and dropping on the ground. Oh man, I'm pulling off brutalities. So I party up with Frost. So if you don't know about Mortal Kombat 1, they have a new cameo system, and then the cameo system is like your tag partner that you call in for help, backup kind of thing,
Oh,
right?
okay.
So they also have is they can help you with brutalities. They have their own finishing move in a sense, this, that, and the other. Well, one of Ermac's fatalities or brutalities partners up with Frost, and I adore Frost. I love Frost as a character. I think she's super, super helpful. If you go pro league, I don't think you're using Frost. You're using others because then you can juggle your combos and stuff. But either way, as you pull in, as I was pulling Frost in, she comes out across the screen. You tee up your grab move, and as you grab, Frost comes in and smash them into a bunch of spikes. And then the last one is just poof, and that they're done. It's just so, man, Mortal Kombat 1 is so damn good. I love it. It is so cool. I love Mortal Kombat. I've always been a Mortal Kombat guy from way back in the day. And this, when I got 1, I was like, okay, I played the story, love the campaign. It's over the top. It's Mortal Kombat campaign, but it's still cool to see Quan Chi make his way. I'm like, that's not Quan. Oh, all of a sudden now it gives you the backstory of how he became Quan Chi and all these other things. Oh man, it was what an introduction for those who've never played Mortal Kombat to get into it, and then what a love letter to the fans like myself who's always played Mortal Kombat but didn't know some of maybe the origin story, right? And this is kind of where this all kind of takes off and away it goes. Scott, you see this thing on sale, dude? You got to pick it up. It is fantastic, and the new seasons keep dropping.
Missing? Still, Ermac just being added in is kind of strange, so it makes me wonder who else is missing.
We've got one more. So I bought the Ultimate Edition when it came out, right? So I spent, it was like 150, 160 bucks. I was all in because I knew it was coming with new fighters, extra fighters. So I got all the extra fighters too, because there's Ermac. Because the only way you're getting Ermac is getting into this fighter pack. Bought that, and that's what's kind of really helped me keep going. Because as I played, I'm like, man, I need my click. I need that click of a fighter. Last time, Mortal Kombat 11, Scorpion. I was a Scorpion main through and through. Jump in here, Scorpion's not clicking, right? And I haven't had anybody click until I jumped into Ermac the other day. I was like, yo, I turned to my kid Garrett because he plays too. I said, dude, you're done.
Got your character.
You're done. So I called him out, right? I said, you're in trouble, man. I got my main, and I'm already doing the little sequences, and I'm going, okay, now this will set up me to be able to go in and continue the combo, my juggle.
Getting your chains together.
Yep, right? And that's the click I got with Scorpion on the last game. And I haven't been able to find that round. I like playing Garrus. Garrus is a super cool character, but it's more to go in and goof around. Where, like with Mortal Kombat 11, I actually went online. And you don't go online if you can't hang. And I was able to pull off a couple wins. I was doing the grind, the challenges, oh man, I was all in.
Well into it. I remember you were well into it.
Yeah, over 100 hours and then some, right? So then now for Mortal Kombat 1 to come around, I kind of felt a little left out going, what happened here, right? Because they changed Scorpion so much. Some will argue with me, maybe, but either way, at the end of the day, it just didn't click the way he did in 11. And then Ermac came out, and I'm like, oh man, he's got the teleportation move, kind of like similar to Scorpion's, and it just queues up certain other things. And yeah, it's just, I found my character, my fighter, and then I can go in and completely customize Ermac too, right? He's got different masks as I grind out his progression. So each character, let's not do that. So each fighter has a mastery level, and they go from 1 to is it 15 or 30, either way, and each tier unlocks something else along the way. So I've already unlocked a bunch of stuff for Ermac, and yeah, I'm gonna grind it out. Man, I'm all in on Mortal Kombat 1 right now, and I've been away for quite a while. So yeah, it's pretty pumped.
Was it easy to get the controls again, all the different combination buttons?
Oh yeah, I just felt like
they're still in there. It's like riding a bike.
Yeah, absolutely. So that's what I'm all in. Scott, I'm gonna kick it back over to you. What are you in or out on right now?
I'm all in, and this may be a little bit predictable, but I'm all in on the Fallout love.
It's not a bad thing, man. Yeah.
It's just getting so much praise and so much love, and so many people are falling in love with this IP, this whole franchise, and it's really fun to see another group of people kind of fall into that same trap that I did 2 decades ago now. I love these games and talking about it with people, and it's brought a lot of the old fandom back. Like I can talk with my friends that we used to talk about this game forever. Brian specifically, he's going through New Vegas all over again.
Nice.
Everybody's been re-inspired to play their favorite parts, and it's just it gets back to what I loved about RPGs. I can't get into some of the ones that are really long. I can't get into a lot of the JRPGs, but
Well, I think I should join this conversation as well. Sorry, Scott, because I was going to say that Fallout. Well, that's what I was going to say was my in, was the show itself, like you just mentioned. So, and I really enjoyed it. And I did play a little bit of the first Fallout, but I didn't click with it. I found it too empty. And because of the stories of each character, it was kind of like, yeah, I'm a little bit bored. But for some reason, watching the show, and I know it's a little bit of all the Fallout games, a little bit of here, a bit of Vegas, a bit of this. And it makes me want to jump in and play one of the Fallout games, but I wouldn't know which one to start off with or whether to go in sequence.
Yeah, that's kind of the first trouble. I'd say there's a few good starting
3
points.
Was supposed to be good. The third one.
Yeah, I'd say 3, but by now 3 is kind of aged. It'll feel a little bit like an old game. Whereas if I would say 4 in that case would be a little bit easier as a starting point. New Vegas is everybody's favorite if you've been around for that long, but it's only that way because of some of the intricacies to it. So you don't really need to worry about that too much. I would say New Vegas or 4.
Yeah.
76 is online. You could get stepped through that, maybe with a little bit of help, and that would make it a lot better. But
I think it's but explained well. I do believe like the show is explained well because it's a bit of everything. It's quicker on telling the story of how certain things happen, of the ghouls and certain bits and pieces. And for me, it's watching. So I did have to waste hours and hours to really find out a bit more of the story of what basically happened with the nuclear bombs and all about the different vaults as well. I didn't realize there were so many different vaults, and it was like you could do whatever you want in them.
Oh, they're all messed up in very specific different ways.
Yeah. I thought it was very, very clever.
I thought the ghoul was the best part of that entire show. I
haven't seen the whole show still. So
yeah, no spoilers.
I can't pick a favorite part, but I know what I want to happen, and I don't know that it does.
What episode are you in on right now? Do you know?
I still have only seen 1.5 episodes.
Oh, you're so early.
I just haven't. Yeah. We've been on so many review games, and I just haven't been able to sit down for a couple hours and watch it.
Steve, did you watch the whole season?
Yeah, I watched the last one last night.
Nice. There you go.
So I'm ready for the next lot. I'm really enjoying it. I just like I think as well is it gets praised as well for the comic humor as well, like the game.
Yeah.
Like the quirky one-liners and
it comes out.
I would notice it, but there's so many Easter eggs as well in the show as well. A lot of references.
That's what I'm waiting for. I'm waiting for specifically the mysterious stranger. The mysterious stranger. He's just. I don't know if anything is known about him at all in Fallout. He's just there sometimes. If you miss the shot, sometimes he'll appear and do the shot for you, and then disappear again. And I want them to explore that in the show so much because you could use that in a finale and it would make so many people angry, except for the real fans who know. And like, I'd be cheering, but I can only hope for season 2 and 3 beyond that.
So you've seen all the episodes then for Fallout, Drew?
Yeah, I've seen them all. Yeah. So I fell off at 6. So I watched 6. Okay. If you've seen 6, there's a point where like, I'm done. I'm just done. And then from there, I'm working on review games, right? So because we have the two TVs side by side, I'm working on it. But then Crystal's got it over on the TV. So then I literally just gotta watch. I'm like, oh man, I'm not even playing my game now, right? Now I'm just watching the rest of the. So I know how it all ends and stuff. It's not like I sat down and just watched the last 2. But for me, it's just Fallout's not my bag. And even after watching the show, it's still not for me. But I appreciate everything they've done for it, right?
So that's what the next question is going to be: is do you think the game adaptation, like The Last of Us, to the miniseries, and then Fallout, and then obviously we're getting Horizon, I believe.
Yeah,
is another miniseries that's coming out soon.
Man, can't wait.
Could you see this a thing happening a lot now? Because I noticed a lot of films are running out of ideas. of storylines
Oh,
and things
yeah.
like that. I find it very monotonous, all exactly the same. There's nothing new.
Right.
And I wondered if this is going to be the next stage now, mini-series, films of
It seems
games.
to be the way, right? It seems to be leading the charge right now. The Last of Us really like we had Halo. You can like it or not like it. It doesn't really matter. It's out. Then you get into The Last of Us. Absolutely crushed it. Okay. Season 2 comes back around for Halo. Much better than season 1. If you haven't watched season 2, I definitely recommend go check it out. Dude, it's much better.
It's still a net negative to the IP.
It's still meant for not the Halo fans. That's the problem they made with Halo is that they didn't cater to dude. They didn't cater to the fans like The Last of Us and like Fallout did.
Yeah.
Fallout.
So then what's the point? They could have just called it Soldier Man.
I don't know. Good. I don't know. I'm not the ones who made this thing, but it was a misstep, right?
AI made it.
Well, I think you're wrong, but either way, we're gonna get it, dude. I guarantee you, we're getting a season 3. Season 2 ended for Halo, and I'm like, man, I want to know what's happening next. Like, it was some cool stuff happening in season 2, and then you get into Fallout again. Steve, I'm not a Fallout fan, right? I haven't really played. I dabbled in 4 for an hour. Okay. I played 76. I'm like, I've tried. This world isn't for me. But then you talk to Scott and you talk to others. They're all in it.
Ones. Number 1 and 2, perhaps maybe would click a little bit better with you. Maybe because Broken Roads it took a while to get into you, but I think maybe Fallout would have a better chance that way.
Maybe, but it's just more Fallout for me, and I'm just not into the world of Fallout. I'd rather go if I'm getting into those things. Man, I want to go. Have you ever? 5. No, I'm still not. 5. You guys can play the Fallouts for us. This is why I have such a diverse team on our show, which is fantastic. So that I don't have to because I don't want to talk about Fallout. I don't know it. I don't care. Right? At the end of the day, it's just not for me. I appreciate what it is, and I know so many people love and adored it, which is great. And then we get in The Last of Us. Yo, I'm all in, right? Like that is, I thought it was an incredible show. I can't wait to see where season 2 is. I can't wait to see where we get into The Last of Us Part 3, what that looks like. As much as I'm gonna be terrified playing the game, I can't wait to see where else, like where does Ellie go next, right? Where does her story take her? Our friend Kyle wraps up. He's getting into Part 2, and he goes golf club. And I went, right? Yeah. So,
also, do you also think because Neil Druckmann said he wants to give up doing games, didn't he?
Well,
so I think
smaller games. He wants to make smaller games. Yeah.
So I've got a feeling this is going to go out of a bang. I think at The Last of Us 3 is going to have a load of twists and turns because it'll be the finale.
You think it's his last game?
I think for The Last of Us, as well. I think it's such an incredible journey. Like Ellie and Joel and
emotional roller coaster.
Character. Exactly. Oh. Yeah. So I think this will finish off as a trilogy, possibly, and then it'll finish.
All right. How do you wind that down?
Because obviously, Ellie, well, she's got the cure, isn't she? Ellie's the cure, supposedly.
Supposedly.
Yeah.
I don't know. All right, guys. We should move on to topic of the show, even though we only got like 15 minutes left. So this is what happens when we take a week off.
I was going to ask you what show needs to come out now. What game needs a show?
Maybe we'll have to queue that up for a future Gamecast. Maybe what show would we like to see get taken over next and brought over to the television side of things? So yeah, keep that in the back of your mind for another show. But right now, let's get into it. How would we fix Embracer? Can we save them? Can their latest move save them? Today, Scott and I covered on the ITG Daily Breakouts that the company now is actually split into 3 different parts. Bizarre, to say the least, right? What would you do then in this case? Because they've now gone Asmodee, Scott, cue me up. What's the other 2 companies or branches
Coffee
now?
Stain and Friends?
Friends of Middle-earth Enterprises and Friends.
Yes.
That's right.
Weird.
Rolls off the tongue.
Yeah, no, it does not. We complained about it this morning, right? Like, it's just like, why would you do that? Enterprises and Friends. I'm like, come on. Are you kidding me? And Friends? Like, that's the biggest mistake right there, right? Is doing this and Friends thing. It's so weird to me. Why would they do this? Can they, first of all, does this save them? Do you think this saves them? Can they do anything about it? Scott, what do you think?
I'm thinking this may save some. I think this is a bailing attempt.
Yeah.
Parts of Embracer are going to sink, are going to go down, are going to be ground into dust. They've already done enough of that themselves.
Right.
And I think this is kind of a way of segmenting that. It's like when your computer gets a virus and you put up partitions and you kind of, I think that's kind of what they're trying to do and it might be an underhanded tax evasion kind of thing. It might be a way to claim a loss and therefore balance their books. I have to believe there's business reasons to this that I can't understand.
Yep.
But I think some of this may be a net good for gaming in general. If some of these properties go down and they're forced to sell these off and they start getting really desperate to sell them off to cancel some of their pre-existing debt, we might get something like the Nemesis system brought out for everybody to play with.
Yeah, that's it. So Avalanche Software, I believe, owns those rights, right? So it's a Warner Brothers IP that owns the Nemesis system. That's our biggest problem right there, is that Warner Brother owns it. Again, right? That's another, what are you guys doing with this flipping platform? You own this Nemesis system, which is one of the coolest things. If you guys know, if you've never heard of the Nemesis system, basically back in the day, they made Middle Earth, Shadow of War, and then Shadow of Mordor, those games. And then basically what happens is you go out and you fight somebody. You lose against that person. That orc or whoever you fought at the time becomes stronger. And then they actually taunt you when you come back. And it was, what a cool system. But man, it's been dormant ever since. And it's just a bit of a heartbreaker.
Oh, it could be applied to so many different games.
Oh,
like
man.
that's, if Embracer could do anything positive, again, I'm assuming Embracer can even unlock this, but if they were able to actually, proliferate some of these great ideas that they've locked up in a vault, they might not be remembered for the scourge that they've first become.
Steve, do you think this helps them? Like right now, right? When you mention the word Embracer Group, everybody gets this tainted little, you cringe at the thought of Embracer Group, right? Can you do anything? Can they save themselves? What would you do to save them?
I think what basically Scott has just said, I think they're protecting the main name Embracer by splitting into 3 groups. And then if something doesn't do well, they could maybe get rid of that, but still keep the name without the whole company going down as one.
Yeah.
Like you said, compartments, like on a ship. Like it lets in water, they can cordon that off and
seal it off
kind of thing. And that's what I think it is. I mean, the names do not help at all. The 3 different groups.
No.
It sounds like 3 different IPs, basically. You concentrate on this IP. Like a fantasy game, Coffee Stains. I don't know. I don't know. I think it's just different genres, maybe, of what they may be working on.
So there's different degrees, right? So Asmodee's into like the board games, the digital board games, the card games, and then you get in Coffee Stain, which seems to be more around like the AA level, and then when you get into the Middle Earth Enterprise, then you're into the AAA aspect, right? So they have these different levels of games. It almost reminds me a little bit of like getting into the PlayStation Plus system. You got the base tier, the middle tier, and then the top tier. And that's kind of how Embracer right now seems to be structuring their own studios. In-house studios, right? And it's just kind of, what do you like? It's, you still own all these people. Like, what are you doing? Why are you doing it at this point? Not, I shouldn't say own these people. You own these studios, not the people. You treat the people like crap. Is what the problem with Embracer does. So. Yeah. Maybe
this is about getting the right management over top of the right companies. Maybe this is a way of diversifying and kind of reorganizing. Reorganizing thus far has meant shutting things down. But putting the right people at the top where they need to be. Yeah. I'm not convinced that Embracer has any of those people to begin with, but
it makes you wonder, right?
That's when you want to be a fly on the wall to see what goes on.
Would love to be a fly in the wall, and why this decision was made at all. I think you're right. I don't know how I would save them. Like, okay, so right now we're talking about Warhorse Studios just announced that they are going to bring out Kingdom Come Deliverance 2. The hype is huge. I think this is one of the IPs that can help bring us along. Here's the other side of it. They have Eidos Montreal. You know what they just canceled? Deus Ex. Right? Some of the beloved IPs that they have, they're not even doing anything with. You bought this IP, you bought that IP, then do something with those IPs. You have a fan base that is interested in these IPs. We've loved these IPs for years, for decades, and all they're doing is sitting on them right now, right? Crystal Dynamics, working on a new Tomb Raider game. They're working on a new Tomb Raider game.
Yeah, what are they doing right now? Because that could be really good, too.
We just don't know where it is right now in development. It sounds like it's been in development for quite a while. Seems like a very long time, right? Tomb Raider just got to, I think it's like 25th year anniversary or something not too long ago. Tomb Raider's been they've been around for a very long time. So build off of that. You have a lineage. You have a massive IP. You have a massive character in Lara Croft. Do something with it. Now, Crystal Dynamics working on it. They're working on it. Is it going to be enough? Because when Tomb Raider came out last time, it didn't set the world on fire. They're great games, but it still didn't take, like, when you take a look at it now. Nathan Drake,
you know what?
Uncharted.
For me, it's like Crystal Dynamics. I keep thinking Marvel's Avengers.
Ouch.
You know
don't
what
do
I mean? Yeah. Well, that's, but again, they had all these famous characters under one game, and it was boring.
That game should still be going, Steve. Oh.
Yeah, but you know what I mean, though? They could have done so much more with these iconic characters, and they just fumbled it.
Oh, that's representative of the company at large. They have all these incredible things, and they just don't seem to put it to market.
So that was a different time, though, because Crystal Dynamics was over there with Square Enix at the time when that game flopped, right? Now Embracers picked them up. They own them. They got them for dirt cheap. Like, Square really kind of dropped the ball on that one for some reason.
Was that 300 million?
Yeah. And now they're selling other IPs off for like 600 million. Like, what are you doing over there?
He could have easily put another couple zeros on that.
I don't know, but like, it should have came with a beloved Marvel's Avengers game, Steve, right? Where we should be into this. You know where we're at right now with Destiny, and everybody's like talking about the newest DLC that's coming out. The final shape is coming, right? People are like, we're back in. We should be doing that with Marvel's Avengers. Like, straight up, that should have been a slam dunk. Here's the problem: they're a story-driven studio, right? And if that's the case, this is maybe why Naughty Dog said, "Hey, we're not putting out a multiplayer game for The Last of Us," because they're a story-driven studio.
Yeah.
Right. But there's still, if you're at Embracer right now, you got to get Tomb Raider going, right? You already do, so you need it out. I think Warhorse has something that's going to help save you. Digital card games are huge. They're still big.
Yeah.
They're mobile side. So you put Asmodee on something that would bring out a card-driven digital game and get that going. Like, they have the foundation there. They just got to actually build it. I don't understand what they're doing.
Well, just a quick question. This a little while back, wasn't Square Enix into like the NFT thing?
Yeah.
So then
everybody's tried
to. Is that long and dead now, or do you think they're still going to bring out like this a card game with NFT stuff?
That's a great question, Steve. I don't know if Square Enix is done with it, but as far as it gets into the game industry side of things, I think we're all done with it, right? Like, we didn't really want it here in the first place. So Square tried to bank on it. Ubisoft tried to bank on it. Nothing happened.
Yeah.
So, like, I think that's just out of the conversation right now. I don't think that is. You want to talk about the metaverse? Go over to Fortnite. That's the metaverse.
Yeah.
Right? Like, they own that space right now. And I don't know if they have any competitors out there at all. I'm sure they consider themselves to have some competitors. But Embracer doesn't have anything to build off of with that, right? I think they have their own IPs that they can build off of. What if we got a card game in the world of Tomb Raider? Or Deus Ex? Or Marvel's Avengers? Or, like, they need to be talking with the right people, man. I don't know what Lars is doing over there besides sinking his own company. Like, it's just... And I'm not the world's greatest, smartest guy either, right? Like, I'd love to be over there to see what they're doing. Right now, the latest one to get sold was Gearbox over to Take-Two. And good on Gearbox, right? Like, isn't that a great move for them?
Yeah. We're seeing all these. Is that what's going to happen? The inevitability. All of these companies are just going to be washed to Take-Two or Tencent, or just these big, large conglomerates are going to eat up all these things from Embracer as Embracer slowly sinks.
Do you think they're at a point now, though, that they're done sinking?
That's what I'm hoping. I'm hoping this one out of three of these entities sinks and it saves the other two. But then again, what if they just if it's all devalued so much before these people are all laid off and fired? I would like somebody to come and liberate them, like Xbox, like SIE, come in and kind of pull some of these studios into first party development.
Are you shocked?
There's a future where this could be somehow positive. But
what are you gonna say, Steve?
I was going to say, it goes back to what we probably mentioned last time on the Gamecast of, they start these games, they've written the story, they've done all the boards, they now doing all the programming,
Yeah.
and then after 3-5 years say, do you know what? Shut it down. It does not make sense, because I would love to see some of these games on how far they've gone
Time Splitters.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was one of the games me and my son used to play.
Yeah.
The split screen.
Yeah, I knew you had to call in for that one, Steve. So, and then they shut it down, right? Like they just straight up just locked it out, shut it down, and moved on. Where are they with half of these games in development right now, right? Can Crystal Dynamics save them? IDS Montreal and all these other Warhorse. Can these AAA studios help save Embracer? They need to pump out a game. Is when you take a look at Xbox right now, right? And you take a look at PlayStation, what's selling for those systems? They're games. They have PlayStation in an odd place this year for 2024 with no major first party titles at all. But they partnered to bring in exclusive content for their side, right? Xbox lining up. We're about to get next month Hellblade 2, right? This is an exclusive. Okay, cool. Then maybe, just maybe, somebody over at Embracer needs to talk to PlayStation or Xbox to bring them an exclusive to help queue up how to save that company. Like, I just don't. We've watched them be a garbage truck on fire now for the past, what was it, year and a half, right? And
at least it feels like 2.
It does feel like 2, and it probably isn't. If I'm guessing, it just feels like we've been talking about it forever, right? It's just disappointing to watch them come and go and just lay off one studio after another, and then come out with a comment and say, we're just going to exploit the Lord of the Rings. First of all, that person should never have said that. Never. If I'm running the company, nobody says that here. Like, nobody says, we're going to exploit our IP. Are you out of your mind?
No, you clear out your desk at the end of that one. There's no way.
Absolutely. What a mistake on that word. Like, somebody needs to change their PR department and go, hey, this is not how we do this, guys. Like, this is not how we get funding, how we get investors, or how we get people to come work at our studios. To exploit your IP is not the way you want it. We have an absolute passion for Lord of the Rings. We can't wait to show you more. And then here's Gollum. No, that's not what we do, right? Like, there's just certain things you gotta really queue up when you're trying to dig yourself out of a hole that Embracer Group has sunk themselves into, right? I get they didn't get the funding. They had this Saudi thing lined up, which probably would have helped prevent 90% of this stuff. At the end of the day, it might have helped.
I'm starting to wonder if that was just a get-rich-quick scheme, and it just they were going to take that money and bail anyways. Because of the just complete circus that's been, I struggle to see any sense in it at all. Yeah, like how could it go so disastrously wrong that we're in this?
You're right. It was either crunch time, or they said just make it playable.
Yeah.
Release it.
Yeah.
And then we'll get the money off the name.
Yep. But that's what they're trying to do, right? Like, so Steve, you and I played Gollum. What a horrible game, unfortunately, right? Like, that is just such a disheartening feeling for a fan like myself, who's a fan of the Lord of the Rings IP, who thought Gollum was a super cool character. Like, here we go, we're getting the Gollum game. It's a stealth game. It's even right in my genre. And then that's what we've got to play. It's like, man, this isn't cool. Like, I hope they can fix it. Now they got to dig themselves out of a hole for that one, right? It's just, you got to bring the games, you got to bring the quality, and you got to be holding your company at a standard that you can't just go, we're going to exploit this company or this IP and expect everybody to be okay with that. Like, that's not.
They should just pay modders, like, get to the game to a certain condition, and then say, do you know what I mean? Because I've seen some people do modders of how much they've improved certain games, whether it's a building or the lighting or anything like that.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Yeah. They need to get creative in some capacity. Whether that's bringing out Deus Ex as an exclusive or not, that maybe would have helped.
But that one hurts. That one really hurts. And then right now we also know that Crystal's working with, I believe it's the Coalition. Is it the Coalition on the Perfect Dark? No, the Initiatives. Sorry, they're working with the Initiative on the Perfect Dark right now, right? So I'm like, okay, that's still happening. So maybe that part helps as well. But guys, at the end of the day, it's going to wrap up ITG Gamecast. We'd love to hear from everybody else. You can check us out, itgtv.com. Hit us up on all the socials over there. Let us know, how would you save the Embracer Group? Or can they even be saved at all? Until next week, make sure you check us out, 7:30 p.m. Eastern. I'm Drew. That's Steve. That's Scott.
And we'll see you inside the game.